Welcome to Moment Talk. I'm your host, Doua Moua. On episode 24, we have the actor Doua Moua. We talk about his experience in Hollywood and acting, and of course, Mulan is the latest one he was in. And also, his first movie he started was Gran Torino. I had a great discussion with Doua Moua. We always save the best question for last. The last question was, hey, Doua, do you have a girlfriend? Hashtag asking for a friend. Well, listen to all the way to the end and find out for yourself. But first, let's thank our sponsors and let's get right back into it. Today's sponsor is brought to you by She Sells Menswear. Are you looking for the latest trendy men's fashion? Look no further. She Sells Menswear carries handcrafted bow ties, suit accessories, and everyday streetwear. They are your one-stop Hmong-inspired men's shop. You can search them online at www.xixomenswear.com. Now let's get back to the show. Hey everyone, we are super excited. We have Doua Moua. Yes, that's right, Doua Moua. Hey Doua, how's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Awesome, dude. You're in the sunny side, California, correct?
Yeah, I'm in LA right now, so it's pretty sunny.
Not over here. It's kind of gloomy and cold over here.
I
Can you
understand.
can you tell the audience one thing we do not know about you?
One thing you didn't know about me, I am green Hmong, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Hmong Lang.
aka Mon Lang, right?
Yeah, aka Hmong Lang. A lot of people were surprised that I am Hmong Lang. So, and a lot of my family members are in politics. So.
Oh, and family is, I'm assuming, not in LA.
No, they're not in LA. If people know Senator Mimo, the first female Hmong senator,
Of
Minnesota.
Absolutely. That is a sister from another mistress. Well, let's dive right in, and super excited to have you on. Um, we're gonna talk about Mulan. I mean, do you still keep in touch with some of the Mulan stars?
Yeah, I mean, some of the we call it boy band. Some of the other characters that I train with and learn martial arts with, still connect with them, and it's hard to connect with the bigger stars like Jet Li and Donnie Yen and Gong Li, but I have a pretty close and good relationship with Ife, the star Mulan. So it's everyone has a busy schedule, so it's not like we message or talk to each other every day, but once in a while, we check in.
Cool. Is out of all these actors in Mulan, was there one that you impressed you the most?
Jet Li, just because I grew up with him, and Gong Li, like those two are like legends to me. So it's just amazing to be in their presence and forgetting Jason Scott Lee, and so it's just amazing to be in the presence and to do this film project with them, So, and also as well as the work that Ife, who stars Mulan, put into this film is just dedication, and I'm super proud of her. So.
That kind of follows on my next question. How does it feel to be working with these crazy ass famous actors that you and I grew up watching?
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's again just being in their presence. Like, I mean, not that I value them as gods, but they're up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of, you growing up, you watch usually Jackie Chan or Jet Li and Gong Li do their films, and you're just admire them, and to actually stand next to them and be around their presence is just amazing. And not a lot of people get that experience, especially in the Hmong community. Not a lot of Hmong people get that experience to be part of something great, and and having them on board is just amazing.
Wow. Phew, if I could just shake Jet Li's hand or Donnie Yen, I'd probably never wash my hand. But what did you have to do and prepare for the role in Mulan? Was it worth it?
It was worth it, like just because like this film's gonna be part of history forever. You know what I mean? And that's just and that's just amazing itself. And it's just, and also just be around these legends that are pretty amazing, you know. And to work with Ife, one of the hottest Chinese stars, and you know, get to know her as a
Oh,
person,
say no
amazing.
more, right?
I mean, when I prepared for this film, a lot of mental and physical changes, you know, to become my character, and still, you know, bringing some elements from the animation and bringing some elements of me into this character, and a lot of training martial arts, as well as gaining 40 pounds for this film. It was a fun ride, an interesting ride. So
Let me guess the preparation method. You eat a lot to
yeah,
gain 40 pounds.
yeah, I mean,
Common sense there.
exactly. And New Zealand is pretty healthy and pretty organic, so it was hard of, you know, bowing up and down of my weight fluctuates up and down just because the healthy lifestyle that New Zealand people eat. So
Uh, what was a value lesson you have learned from this work and field overall as an actor, or even this experience?
I mean, it's pretty much what was ingrained in me since I was a kid from my parents and all the elders and adults in my life. Like, you know, it's just, and also just being Hmong, you know. It's just the the act of survival, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that that's the big lesson I learned, is how do I survive, and how do I, you know, conquer this challenge in my life, you know, and finding different ways to do whatever I want to do, but in the most humblest and right way of doing it, things, you know. So but I feel like
Some, yeah, some see you and like, oh no, Doua Moua, he was just in Gran Torino, which we're going to talk about, and also now Mulan, and they don't see the struggle. I mean, at one point you were in New York sleeping on a park bench. Am I correct or am I wrong?
no, you're correct. And also, you know, like also sleeping on friends' couches, or theaters that I did plays at, like their floors, and trading off mopping and cleaning the theater and sleeping, you know, on the stage for the night or my duration of doing the play. And it was a life learning lesson, again, through survival and knowing the fact of like, this is my mission and this is what I want to do as in a career, and this is the sacrifice I need to do to become something, or at least I know that I tried if I fail, you know. So but yeah, I mean, being an actor, especially being a Hmong actor and trying to break it into this entertainment industry, it's quite hard, you know. And you know, sometimes you go audition and you get a lot of no's, and just because the way you look, or literally just because your Asian background, you know. And it's a struggle, and finding a peace in my mind, be like, you know, it's not about me. Like, it took me a long time to realize that, and kind of understand the process of casting, and you know, marketability of having this actor for this film project or TV project or any project, you know. So it's just kind of knowing that, hearing that no, just because of the type of Asian I am. It was hard at the beginning, and being a young actor. Now I'm still facing that, you know. So again, I decided that this is my life and my career, and you know, it's just it sucks once in a while when you're like, you have to lie about your Asian background to just have them see you as an actor. But again, it's part of the game and it's part of the industry, you know. So
You see that you're very inspired in what you do, and I am inspiring, fangirling over here. Uh, so let's go to, how did you get started?
Um,
Let's
I I got started. Singing, you know, and then towards the end, I was like, I'm not gonna make it as an Asian singer. So kind of like, this is like in middle school, and eventually I kind of started doing plays and realized that half of me was like, you know, I I kind of get, you know, like instant satisfaction that being on stage is where I want to be. So, at a young age, I would be in Minnesota, taking the bus to Minneapolis from St. Paul to go take acting classes with all these adults, you know, and did my research of like what free acting class I can take, or how much is acting class from this teacher to this studio in Minnesota, and find my way of earning that money and taking those classes. So that's where it kind of got started. So, and my dad kind of like started doing a film production company in Minnesota, and I mean they have like two movies that came out, and then he stopped for the Hmong community. But eventually, it's just kind of it's always been ingrained in me um, to perform. So I just found my niche that being stuck with acting it might be the better route for me. So that's where I kind of strive at, and trying to doubt the other elders that that don't think this is a right idea for me. So
Now let's get back to Gran Torino, and let's talk about a few things here. It's like, what are some skills you learned from Gran Torino?
um I mean, it was the first biggest film I did, and at such a young age. I think I mean, the joke side of it, I learned how to hold a gun according to Clint Eastwood. Um, but what I've learned from it is how such a big system works, and how how to perceive what people saw of the film, and to really understand the purpose of all these decisions being made for Gran Torino and why they were being made from Clint Eastwood and his producers and writers. Um, why they were shot, or why did they went to from this perspective, and also understanding the root of the story. It's about time, and it's about change. And when you go through a war like Clint Eastwood's character through the Korean War, like again during that time, not a lot of people talk about PDSD. So it's like he's dealing with that. He's dealing with time, and basically things are changing, and then we're seeing his perspective of things change. So it literally opened my eye for being a young actor to literally understand, and I understand different perspective of filmmaking and decision being made for for a wider audience, to understand that it's not so much about being authentic to what the Hmong community may think, and also like there's elaborate stuff that the character did in Gran Trino, but again, we have to see it that it's his perspective. It's what he sees. So pretty much just digesting projects and scripts, and I think that helped me a lot as a young actor to understand that when the movie came out. So.
Let's fast forward a little bit here. Not to Mulan, but have you been recognized as an actor in public recently? And how does it affect different from after playing Spider?
I mean, I get recognized a lot. So I mean, people because Gran Torino was, it's not. I mean, now it's kind of like a classic in a sense. So people, and it's airing like left and right here and there, different network and stuff like that. So people always would be afraid to approach me, but they always like do a double take, and there's people that do approach me and realize that I'm not that character, and it's fun and interesting at the same time. When people approach you and you're just this Minnesotan, who's just all try to always be happy and smile, So
I mean, just to name a few of these, like Gran Trinos and Mulan, and there's so forth that you've been acting in. Now, This is a question that I'm kind of curious too, along with our listeners. What does it take to make it to the top? Can you give us a
Uh,
tip for acting
Patient.
in this career? Patience.
Patience. And again, like I get this question a lot from aspiring, Asian actors, so there's no special pill, you know there really isn't a special pill, and you one day just take your picture and go and want to be an actor. There's a lot of training that you need to do, and there's a lot of dedication and patience, and hearing a lot of no's in life, from your parents or your relative to casting directors. And again, it took 10 years for me through training to get to Gran Torino, and again another 10 years to land Mulan. Like that's a lot of time that went through, and I don't even know the future. It might take another 10 years for me to be appreciated fully as a actor. So it's a lot of patience and a lot of doubt, and having a group of friends that encourage you to continue, because they see that spark in your eye. Like it's just, it's being surrounded by great people, and people that can be your mentor, and people that you can ask the most ridiculous question and they're there to clarify if it's true or not. I think that's the most the important thing when you're trying to make it in this industry.
Okay. With any next project or maybe anything in your mind, will we see you collaborate with other Hmong actors in a movie? So, like, say,
I,
an all Hmong movie.
I mean, I would definitely love to. It's just it has to be the right project, and it has to be union because I'm union. So I mean, it comes down to that. I've collaborated with a lot of the Hmong director growing up. Kang Dang, Mo Lee, Kak Lee. I talked to the Bang brothers, Abel and Burley, a lot. And it's just that's talk to them and encourage them to continue doing what they're doing. And so it's again, I collaborated with a lot of the Hmong directors, and with the Hmong, actors and actresses out there. It has to come down to the right project, and it has to go through the right channels for me to sign on to it.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about getting rejected from being an actor in this film or that film, and not only just not you, but maybe Asian. Do you feel like you face your discrimination? How do you feel deal with that?
You just kind of spend a day venting about it, and then move on. I mean, to be honest with you, just being a Southeast Asian, and hence the Hmong people came from China. But again, when IMDb decided to put that I was born in Thailand, like that already like put a pin on what type of role I can play. So and so rather than like digesting into the history of the where we're at, landing to Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, how we got there. So I think the big discrimination, like again, you gotta spend that day venting and talking to a friend that understands where you're coming from, and just allow you to vent. After that, you just gotta move on. Like that's just part of this industry and part of this life. Like, don't be afraid to vent. Don't be afraid to have doubt in yourself. I think that will just help you grow as an artist and grow as an individual person. So
Okay. Um, with all your acting in these movies, is there any preparation method that you do, like a routine and ritual you do? I don't know, read something, calm down, drink water. Is there any routine?
there's not really a routine. Every role is different. Like for Mulan, like my preparation was making sure I know my stunts, making sure I know that I have to eat a certain amount of calories every day to maintain my weight. To playing Spider in Gran Torino, like how I am examine like my lifestyle growing up different from my brother's lifestyle growing up. Like i was I was kind of at the end of the gang era for the Hmong community, growing up, but my brother went through that, where we're the first generation of Hmong people in the United States, and our parents are usually working 2 or 3 jobs and don't pay attention to us. How did he and what he went through, trying to find that brotherhood with other Hmong men or Hmong boys. The only way is to start a gang, and protect each other, during that time. So I think every role has its own preparation, and it comes down to, you know being prepared when you go to the audition or shoot a movie or TV show. It comes down to your education as an actor, and to know your methods and techniques, to use it for different roles, because there's no right way. And because again, an actor could have a block, and how can I uh, give life and realness to this character if I'm, my mind is blocked from performing. But again, if you have preparation through your acting education, or your theater education to help you, perform real life situation, then you're set to go.
Okay. This is a two-part question. Of all these projects, what is your favorite project? And then the next part is, what is your next coming project?
I mean, all of them have their special moments, like again, Gran Torino, just to work with, again, another legend, and to be around, Clint Eastwood, and, hearing a lot of great things about him. And it is true, he is an amazing and great guy, and he took me under his wing and believed in me to perform my best in his film, and literally, I would say 70% of what I do in this film was all improvised, from my actions, and, throwing some words here and there. And, and that backup scene of driving, to stop Tao, like in the street, like that was an accident, but again, the golden rule is don't stop until the director says cut, so I continued that role. Yeah, got out of the car, and it was in the movie, and to Milan, like it's just, again, amazing to work with an amazing female director, and seeing how she crafted this film beautifully, and her judgment, and to make it something more than just a diversity film in Hollywood, like it's just amazing. And her team, and like it's amazing. Like I would say 80 to 90% of Mulan was created by 80-90% women who all been part of this film, and it's amazing. And again, like I worked with other female directors, and directors and writer producers, and this experience just been amazing, and to see how these individual help each other to craft something amazing. So, and for my next project, there's a indie film that I can't really talk about. That it's is that I kind of in the process of negotiating right now. And then on top of that, I will be hopefully this year, because we kind of just got the green lit, the film that I wrote. So it will be coming to Minnesota to shoot it, and we will be looking for Minnesotan actors and actresses and extras to help us make this a impactful project. So,
Ooh, pick me. That's
you never
exciting,
know.
man. That's exciting coming to hometown Minnesota for that.
Yeah, I mean, I always have this mission of bringing back to my roots, and the people that um, kind of helped raise me, in which that's a lot, like the Hmong directors, like having them be included at this project, and then also inspired the younger generation, not just Hmong people, but like anybody, like the newly immigrants, to Minnesota, inspire them that it can happen if you just work hard enough, So I think that's the main goal. That's why I've been fighting to take this film and shoot in Minnesota, because we have a community there, and also the fact that the main goal in life is just to connect and inspire and motivate, and that's always been my thing. And as much as struggles or survival that I need to conquer, like that's always been the thing where I was told, like the one thing I have is my face and my name, and how do I help push that to inspire and motivate and connect with people?
Let's elaborate that. That kind of comes almost to the end of this question, but this is these last few questions are more for the younger generation, the younger Doua Moua. What are your advices to the Hmong people who wants to become an actor in this industry? How do you get in the door, man? Can you get that advice for these aspiring actors? That I mean, do you have to go to LA and live there? Like, what do you have to do?
I mean, my biggest advice is save money before you do the move. But yes, I mean, you have to differentiate what's a hobby and what I want to do in life. If it's a hobby, then stay where you're at and just find student films or local theater that you can act in. But when you really want to be somewhat successful like me, so I'm still somewhat successful and uh, slightly making it there. Like it really, you have to say, this is, I'm going to put 100%, 120% into this. No matter what happens, no matter how many no's I get, I'm going to put 120 to 150% to this. Live or die, this is what I want to do. Then save your money as much as you can and move to New York or LA, even to Atlanta or Chicago. Move to these bigger city that has a film industry and survive, and go out there and do your research on Google or Yahoo, and find the acting community out there and start asking questions. How did you what do you do to look up auditions in this state, or this city? Like, how did you get here? How did you land your agents or your manager for this, state? Ask questions. Don't be afraid. But again, while through all that, be humble. And I mean, once in a while, have that moment of high horse, but always come down to the ground and be humble, and face reality that it's gonna be tough. It's not easy ride. But again, finding that group of friends that help support you throughout, everything that you go through, it's the most important thing to keep your sanity.
Wow, that's a lot to take in for a young Domoir or upcoming aspiring actor. Be humble, save money. You gotta. It's 120. That's risk. That's 120% risk.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. You think of it like, if you want to be a doctor, it's going to take 10 to 20 years to become a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, if acting is what you really want to do, like, you have to do it. You have to put 120, 115% into it, and live and die to survive, so you can land that role. Like, it takes, again, it took me 10 years to get to Mulan. Yeah, in between I did small project here and there, indie film, or like, or other B-level movies here and there. But again, it's like, it takes 10 years for people to kind of put an eye that, okay, he made it to this far. You know what I mean? Maybe we could put him this other movie here and there. But again, it's a long process. You know?
Patience. The born is not just born yesterday.
Yeah.
It is patience. That leads us to this last advice. Can you give us one last advice or wise word for everyone?
I mean, especially for our community, my biggest advice is literally open your ears and listen to what your parents are saying, because only at this age I could understand and comprehend what they were saying. And because, especially for the Hmong community, like, our parents find a way of saying something really nice, but also also saying something, that kind of cringe your teeth,
Sounds like a
um,
hypocrite.
yeah, I mean, but the thing is, they really care and really are afraid of what's going to happen if things doesn't go your way. Like, but again, unless your parents don't really love you, then it's a different story. But like I would say, 99% our parents are there to support, and to make us face reality and and see both sides. I mean, the good thing for me growing up with such amazing parents who had tough love, a lot of tough love towards me, but again, having them when they start seeing there's a progression in my career and I made somewhat of the right decision, for them to see and start encouraging me, like that's amazing, and again, listening to your parents, like listen to both sides of what they're trying to say, and not just automatically like, not listen or shut them down because you feel they're wrong.
They have good intention.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's why they gave birth to you, unless your parents really hate you, then that's a different story. But I mean, if your parents love you when they buy your favorite thing spontaneously for you to eat or cook spontaneous
Heck,
food.
yeah, just cook something,
I mean,
That's love.
like as much as bocha or yell at you, and it comes down to seeing the small little things and appreciate the small little things, and that's when that they actually love you rather than you know trying to make you not follow your dreams.
Mm. Just a little bit follow up from that. Your mom and dad supporting you now versus then?
I mean, my mom always supported me, but she always thought that it might just be a hobby and I'll kind of like grow out of it, and my dad supported as well. It's just that my dad has been busy, like dealing with making sure we have food on our plate. So especially, and also my mom, like my mom worked two jobs to help pay for my first acting class in Minnesota, which was like, I
That's a lot of
think,
love.
yeah, I think it was like $800, like, but we did payment plans. So she helped with that. So it's like it's tough love, and towards the end when I really decide that this is what I want to do, like I a lot of the elders like told me to focus on communication and psychology and go to college for education, and then drop the acting dream, because just being a Southeast Asian or being a Hmong person, like we would never we would never get to the point of this level of entertainment world because of where we came from, and just for being Hmong or just for being Thai or Laos or whatever not. So their biggest fear is like we will never get to a point of being Koreans and Japanese and Chinese and be platter into Hollywood. That's hard. They just don't want me to fail at it, and that just kind of like the fire in my soul and my heart that I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna try to improve people wrong, and that again, if you go through life and not do it, I will regret it. So I mean, everything I've done in life, like I have no regret because I know that I put 120 to 150% in doing it. So
I love that, man. I love that. That light in your fire, the chip on your shoulder.
yeah.
Sound like you're just unstoppable, Doa.
I
And
mean, let's hope so. I mean, let's hope I'm unstoppable, but you never know.
thank you for inspiring our young generation that's coming up or want to be an actor. Uh, thank you for hearing your voice out on that. This leads us to actually that was not the last question. I'm saving this for the very very last questions, man. Dua, this is a very very off topic question now. Very off topic question. Yo, bro, did you like mom girls like Tom, go go. How hashtag asking for a friend.
Well, my parents want me to get married right now, but again, I'm like again, like growing up with because again, half of the Hmong parents were arranged married, so a lot of it, going through that as a child and experiencing that relationship to me focusing 125 or 50% into my career. I've been heartbroken before, so it kind of like I got distracted and not really focused on my career. And right now it's like the prime time because we're asking for diversity on screen, and so I'm just not in the position of being in a relationship, if that makes sense, because I'm really working hard to sustain my career and to keep my career alive because I worked so hard to get to this point. So, but yeah, I mean, so there's no relationship right now besides I got a dog.
You have is it a pug?
It's a 1/4 Chihuahua.
One Chihuahua. Okay, cute little dog. What's the dog's name?
I'm bad at giving names, so I named him my character Mulan Popo.
Oh, well, ladies, you have your answer for those who are hashtag asking for a friend. You have your answer. My suggestion, maybe a doggy date or something. Just saying.
Or patient until I'm at that point where I feel like I'm ready for a relationship. I mean that's a possibility. So.
Well, you have your answer. Well, Doua, we can't thank you enough. We really, really appreciate your time, especially. And we can't thank you enough so much to coming on and chatting with us.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime.
That ends our episode. If you haven't yet, visit our official website at www.hmongmentalk.com or like and share us on Facebook at Hmong Men Talk.
Who also believes in building family values. She believes not only in investing in your future, but also investing in your present moment, creating time and memories with your family. If you have any insurance needs or any questions, please don't hesitate to call her at the link below.
Also, a special thanks to DJ Peter for using his beats. You can check him out at YouTube.